Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, folks, and thank you for tuning in with me once again to True Conservative Radio. I'm the host, the man they call Ghost, and I thank you for tuning in with me with an early edition here on this Saturday evening. I know that I've been fairly inconsistent with the traditional times that I've listed on my traditional broadcast, which is every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 9 p.m. Central Time. But I'm starting to think maybe, we should just make that moot, if you will. I mean, I know that, like I said, I've been inconsistent with coming up on here at 9 p.m. every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're thinking about readjusting that time, maybe having it a little bit more frequent, that sort of thing. We have great debates. We have great discourse on this program, and we want to continue to perpetuate that. I wanted to thank everybody who's tuning in with me right now, live. How you doing? The Poor People's Campaign out of Chicago. He's in the chat room. We got other people that are going to join us here shortly. This is an early Saturday evening edition of True Conservative Radio, and one of the things that we have on the agenda this evening, actually the main part of the agenda, is the absolute dumbing down of America. You know, it's just the dumbing down of America. And what do I mean by that? Well, simply put, folks, just look around you. I mean, people are completely oblivious to the fact of what's happening to our country, what's happening to the world. And the bottom line is people could give a rat's ass just as long as they're shoving, cheeseburgers down their gullet like a damned garbage disposal. They could care less about what's going on around them. We got a public education system that's trying to completely eliminate the whole concept of common sense and cognitive reasoning. And we're going to talk about that extensively for the next 2 hours here this evening. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in with us. Once again, I apologize for the inconsistency of my show. I know that I've stated that I would come up on here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Time. We are going to change that time. We are going to make it a little bit more frequent, but I'm going to leave it up to the listeners. And if you can just give me an idea, you can email me. My email is on my webpage. The webpage is www.blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you think, what time of the day I should be coming on here. Because, I just think that there's just so much to talk about in our world today. And I think that I'm just going to have it a little bit more frequent as far as the show is concerned, and we're going to change the time frame of it. So I'd appreciate input from folks that listen to me, and I thank you genuinely for listening to me, all you folks out there, whether you like me, whether you hate me, whether you just listen to me to have a good laugh, whatever the case might be, I thank you either way. And I urge you to give me an email and shoot me, what kind of a time and how frequent this show should get on the air. I'm actually just making spontaneous shows and that sort of thing. But thank you for tuning in with me here for this early edition. Now, what we're going to get into this evening, folks, is the absolute dumbing down of America. And remember, America was supposed to be the bastion of innovation, of economics, of social landscape, of intelligence. I mean, and if you look at the landscape of America at this point, people are absolute buffooneries, okay? And I know there's going to be a lot of American people that are going to call me up and call me unpatriotic because I'm only stating the damn obvious. And I challenge all of you, I mean, if you think that there's some sort of enlightenment period going on at this point in time in America, I challenge you to get on the phone and give me a call. Give me a damn call, 646-652-4869. But the bottom line is I am standing by my statement, and the statement is that America is dumb, man. We have very few people that are out here with any type of intellectual curiosity. You've got people being educated by the boob tube. I mean, legitimately. Nobody wants to go out to a library anymore. I mean, hell, reading is just so unfashionable. They'd rather have some Nimrodic buffoonery that just escaped from an insane asylum give them the information that they're going to shove down their hole. And this is what we're going to talk about this evening, folks. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. This is True Conservative Radio. This is a special early edition. I want to thank you once again. If you want to chime in, if you want to give us your perspective on anything that we are discussing this evening, and let me tell you, the real thing that we are discussing is the dumbing down of America. And you can give me a call if you want to chime in about it. If you think I'm off my rocker, if you think I'm some imbecile myself, give me a call. Tell me why. 646-652-4869. But we're going to start first and foremost with our public education system. And I know that people that listen to me frequently are like, here we go again. Here we go again with the public education system. But it's very important, folks, that we talk about it. Because it's actually the apparatus that is making our children into a bunch of imbecilic buffooneries, on top of which they are turning the American male into an emasculated piece of trash. And I don't mean to say this to be graphic, and I know that there's probably teachers. I get a lot of teachers. I got people from the teachers' unions shooting me off all kinds of emails that I'm a disrespectful human being, that I'm a bad man because I don't care about the teachers. I don't care about, oh, they work so hard and they have to buy their own school supplies. That's a bunch of crap. Let me tell you something, all right? The teachers in our public education system today are the absolute nimrods on the front line of dumbing down America. And if you're a teacher, and if you don't like what I'm saying, you know it's true. You know it's true. I'm telling you this right now, folks. If you wanted to become a teacher, all right? If you wanted to become a teacher, well, then go out right now, go to the University of Phoenix or one of these ridiculous degree mill programs. Go get yourself an education degree, and you're going to be a teacher. That's right. Just get an education degree. And what exactly is an education degree? Well, I'll tell you what it is, folks. It has absolutely nothing to do with researching about history, mathematics, English, reading, none of that crap. All it has to do with is, okay, this is how you're going to organize, this is how you're going to organize your students. This is how you organize your grade book. This is how you implement disciplinary measures. This is how you become politically correct. The whole 9 yards. Nothing to do with actually teaching or relaying information to the students. And that's what I'm talking about, folks. The public education system is the front line for dumbing down America. And if you don't believe me, won't you take a conversation with anybody who has graduated high school or is in high school right now, and just ask them some simple questions. Hell, ask them who the vice president is. Ask them who the Secretary of State is. Just ask them simple questions that should be common knowledge, and you're going to be shocked. You're going to be in complete awe, in absolute awe at the absolute ignorance that is exuding out of our generations coming out of public education. And this is the main focal point of talking in this particular program. We need to discuss it. And I think people need to be slapped upside their fat jelly asses and understand that we are raising a whole generation of dumb, fat asses. And I know people are taken back right now. People that are listening, they're probably like, whoa, hey, whoa. That's a little harsh, Ghost. Aren't you be a little hard on public education? Aren't you be a little hard on the American people? Hell no. As a matter of fact, I think more people need to get slapped back into reality. And the reality is that America, which used to be, like I stated before, which used to be the bastion of innovation, which used to be the bastion of enlightenment, of technology. Now we're just ass backwards, folks. We are just absolutely ass backwards. Just take a look at this election, for instance. Okay? Now, I know that Barack Hussein Obama, I know he's the big, great savior at this point. You've got all these nimrods out here saying, oh, I like Barack Obama. He's charismatic. He's the great leader. He's for change. Change what? Change what? And I've challenged everybody who knows Barack Obama. Why don't you give me one of his platforms? What do you agree with as far as his political perspective is concerned? And none of these people can describe one. Not one political issue that they like about him. On the contrary, you've got people wanting to vote for him for the most ridiculous reasons. I had one lady call me up on this very show and said she's voting for Barack Hussein Obama because he has nice teeth. I got other people that say, oh, well, we need some young blood in there. That's what we need. We need young blood. It's just malarkey. This goes to show you that our society is probably one of the dumbest societies right now in the world. And I don't mean to generalize people. Everybody always accuses me of generalizing everybody. You know what, Ghost? You're just generalizing. You're making blanketed statements. Well, I've stated this, and I'll state it again. A group is defined by its majority. And let me tell you something, folks. The majority of American folks out here are dumber than a damn doornail. I mean, they're stupid. It would take an hour for these people to cook minute rice, for Christ's sake. Why do you think we have so many fast food joints on every damn corner of the street? Because they roll their fat asses out of bed and go get themselves some processed meat that's probably been fed all kinds of steroids, and who the hell else know what kind of chemicals in there? Because they're stupid. People out here are stupid. They don't question. They don't critically think. They don't have cognitive reasoning. These people are morons. And I don't understand why people are submitting to their own damn ignorance. I don't understand this. I mean, when did it become non-fashionable to read a book? I mean, I didn't get the memo. When did it become non-fashionable to go out and do your own research? I didn't get this memo either. When did it become fashionable to look on the boob tube and get all of your information and your news gathering? I just don't understand it. Somebody please tell me what in the blue hell is going on here in America, because we are seeing the absolute dumbing down of America, folks. And it's almost at a level. It's almost at a level where I wouldn't be surprised if most of these people here in America would submit to their own serfdom. And you're seeing it here in today's America. Just look at the people that are running for president, folks. All of them. It doesn't matter who you're for. It doesn't matter if you're for John Turncoat Liberal McCain. It doesn't matter if you're for Hillary Rotten Clinton. It doesn't matter if you're for Barack Hussein Obama. All these people want to put more government in our faces. They want to put more bureaucracy to regulate us as American people. And that, my friends, is socialism, quasi-communism, whatever in the blue hell you want to call it. That is what's happening, and you've got all of America, you know, dancing around like a bunch of butt monkeys out here, not knowing what in the hell they're talking about, pushing behind these candidates, and they don't even know what their political landscape is, their political perspective, their political platform. They have no idea what it is. And you got people that support Hillary Rotten Clinton, and the only reason that they're supporting her is because they want free health care. Free health care. And somebody last show suggested, hey, if you think health care is expensive now, wait till it's free. You know what I'm saying? Wait till it's free. And we are seeing the systematic dumbing down of America. And you know why I know that this is happening, folks? Because I was a lifelong Republican. A lifelong Republican, folks. And because me, as an American, as a true conservative, because I will not submit to the liberalism of John McCain and all the dumbass Republicans that are out here chastising me, calling me all kinds of four-letter words and personal attacks, which is a common method of agitation used by the left, by the way. The reason I'm being chastised is because I'm not going to turn a blind eye to my conservative principles and go vote for this old, prostate-infected, windbag piece of trash, John McCain. Bottom line. And that's just all there is to it, folks. These are Republicans. I'm a lifelong Republican, folks, and you've got Republicans going against their own conservative principles because they're idiots. This is what I'm talking about. This is the dumbing down of America. These are people going against their own principles because they're sitting on their thumbs and they're a bunch of morons. You've got people that are out here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, all over the internet, in the blogosphere, wherever, trying to advocate to everyone out there that has a bad taste in their mouth that you got this ridiculous John McCain character representing the Republicans. They're trying to tell you, as a conservative, they're trying to convince you, as a conservative, that you need to turn a blind eye to your principles. That you just need to forget about conservatism, and you just need to go in to the voting booth and just place a vote for this piece of trash. That's what they're saying. And let me tell you something, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, and all these Republicans that are forcing or wanting to force the conservatives to do it, you can go ahead and stick a Kentucky Fried Chicken grease thumb up your ass, take it out, put it in your mouth, and taste it for a good long while, because that's the kind of taste that the conservatives have in their mouth because of you social liberals that have hijacked the Republican Party. Anyway, folks, I don't want to get off on that rant because everybody pretty much knows my viewpoints on the Republican Party at this point. Every true conservative is a person without a party, and it's sad. And what these dumbass Republicans don't understand is that by electing John McCain, we're going to see quasi-socialist communist government up in here. You know it and I know it. And anybody who doesn't know it is an imbecile. I mean, just take a look at the man's record, and you will see that this man wants to put more regulation, more government influence in our lives, which is against the very principle of republicanism, first of all. Secondly, he goes against the conservative principles because he could give a rat's ass about all the people that are in here in this country illegally. He wants to give them all free green cards, okay? 20 million illegal immigrants that are devaluing the cost of labor. That's why the American family is having a hard time making it, because you've got illegal immigrants in this country that are undercutting the cost of labor, that are willing to go out and work 25 cents on the dollar, and you've got American folks that got to compete with this crap. And on top of which, you've got all the means of production, all the manufacturing, textile industry, all the means of production going out of the country with these imbalanced trade deals that these ridiculous bureaucrats in Washington signed, these ridiculous deals with communist China. And let me tell you something, I spit on China. I don't know why we're even affiliating with these communist Mao Zedong worshipers out here. I don't have any idea. But we need to just cut diplomatic relations with these pieces of trash. We just need to cut diplomatic relations with them. Let them choke on their own damn chopsticks. And I don't mean the Chinese people. The Chinese people are poor subjects being subjugated by this ridiculous communist apparatus that was created by that ridiculous jagoff, Mao Zedong, and I hope he's got a Ginsu knife up his rectum in hell right now. It's because of Mao Zedong we are seeing the systematic transition of America from democracy under a constitutional republic into socialist quasi-communism. And if you don't believe me, folks, just take a look around you. And this goes back to the subject matter of the show, the dumbing down of America. Let me tell you something, folks. I don't mean to be making blanketed statements and generalizing all of America in this manner. But a group of people are defined by their majority. And right now, you've got a lot of stupid people, a lot of oblivious, ignorant, self-centered, ridiculous pieces of trash that are out here wandering around this world already half dead. Already half dead. And that's all there is to it. That is all there is to it. And you see, of course, we've got Jen over here. If y'all are in the chat room, you can get into the chat room at blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Click on the chat now option. And for all the guests that are coming in from other parts of the internet, I really appreciate your patronage as well. But, you know, you have this other BTR Blog Talk Radio host named Jen of the Jungle. just some stupid ditzy bimbo that's out here claiming that she's some big badass conservative Republican, and yet she's an atheist, okay? On top of which, she could care less if illegal immigrants run wild in this country. She could care less that the social ills of society are becoming the social norms. And here you go. She's in my chat room, and this is a Republican, folks. Remember, this is a Republican person. This is not some left-wing liberal that is openly, putting on a Che Guevara shirt. Okay, this is a Republican or a supposed Republican here, and what do you have her doing? She's agitating. Utilizing the methods of agitation that are utilized by the communists and the feminists on the left of the political persuasion. And this is what it's all about. You know it and I know it. So, Jen, with all due respect, if you don't like me, well, get the hell out of here then, man. All right, I mean, the bottom line is that you're just in here to agitate. You have no substance. I've listened to your show twice. And all you do is spew off airheaded sentence fragments that no one could give two rats' asses about. On the contrary, you kiss the ass of everybody who patronizes your show just so you can continue to have people to listen to your stupid, ridiculous dribble. And that's all I'm going to say about Jen, because she could, she doesn't need any more acknowledgement. She is not a Republican, folks. And let me tell you something, if you're listening to her for any type of Republican rhetoric, she's a liberal, okay? She's a damn liberal. She's an open atheist. She could care less about society. She wants gay marriage. She could care less if women are shitting out about 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers. She's admitted it, folks. She doesn't care. But you see, she is the majority of the Republican Party at this point. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the dumbing down of America, right here. Right here is what you're seeing, the dumbing down of America. And it's a shame, folks. It's a shame that people aren't, questioning the things I question. That's why I have a lot of people that listen to me on a consistent basis. And I really appreciate all you folks that listen to me on a consistent basis. You're the only reason why I come up on here. You're the only reason why I come on here and say the things I say, because I'm a true conservative, folks. I believe in the American family. You see, the modern-day Republican Party doesn't give two rats' asses about the American family. They don't care. They don't care if the American family is decimated. They think, oh, well, that's human evolution. That's crap. How can you equate human evolution to the decimation of the American family? It's absolute crap. And they're not going to debate anything about it. All they're going to do is continue to do what they do, folks. And it's a shame. It really breaks my heart, man. It really does. I'm a lifelong Republican, damn it. I supported the Republican Party before it was chic to do so. And now I've got fellow Republican people, and these are all liberals, folks. Don't be fooled by these jagoffs. These people are liberals, they know it, and anybody who's a true conservative knows it too. And the only reason they're upset with me, folks, the only reason the Republicans are coming into my chat room right now, the only reason is because they want to come in here and agitate. They want to discredit what I'm saying. And you want to know why they want to discredit what I'm saying? Because they want you to go against your conservative principles and vote for John McCain, who's going to turn this country into a socialist, quasi-communist government. And if you don't believe me, you just take a look at the man's record. You just take a look at the man's record. That's all there is. That's all there is. And don't listen to any of these people. I'm a conservative, folks. I'm a foot soldier for the American family, okay? I mean, don't you think it's kind of funny, folks? And if you're somebody who has a family, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Don't you think it's kind of funny that we just passed a tax season and there's really no tax benefits towards the American family that could equate to those tax benefits that are given to women that are having 5 or 6, 7, 8, 12, 20 different kids from 12, 20 different fathers? You know that those women, and that just goes to show you what kind of liberal society we're living in, they're going to get $2,000 a kid, folks. You're damn right. they're going to get $2,000 a kid because they have broken their family. And you compare that to how much the American families get. On the contrary, you've got a system here that is liberal-based now because of the Congress, because of the Senate, that are embracing the fact that we don't need the American family anymore. You want to know why they're trying to get rid of the American family, folks? Because it's the American family that gives people the motivation to go out and work. That's right. And you know what? That is exactly right, Tony Clifton, who's in the chat room. 7 kids, $14,000. If you don't believe me, why don't you go out and do your own research? Why don't you go out and find out for yourself, man? This is what's happening. We've got a system embracing single-parent families, and why? Why are they doing that? Because they want to decimate the American family. Because, you see, when you have a family, people have the motivation to go out and work. People have the motivation to go out and do whatever it takes to take care of them and their family. But you see, when you have single-parent families, you don't have that type of motivation anymore. I mean, and especially with this gender-biased justice system, where if you're a man that has a wife, has a couple of children, you're out there busting your ass working, you come home, you find your wife philandering on you, you can divorce her, and she will still obtain the children. So what happens to you after you caught your wife cheating? What happens to you? Well, you got to give 50% of what you have to her. You got to pay child support, of course. If alimony is legal in your state, you got to pay alimony. And on top of which, you got $2,000 a kid going to that woman every year. And this is supposed to perpetuate the American family? And you see, this is why these dumbass Republicans that are trying to, spread slanderous lies about me, personal attacks, 4-letter words, these are why these people disagree with me, because they know I'm telling the truth. They know I'm telling the damn truth, and they don't want to admit it. They don't care. As a matter of fact, they know what's happening. These Republicans know what's going on. They just don't want you to know about it. And this goes back to the subject matter of this show, the dumbing down of America. Folks, you need to get out of that dumbing down. You need to break through what this public education apparatus that is systematically taken out your common sense, that is systematically taking out your ability for cognitive reasoning. You need to break out of that and start looking at things critically. And it takes some getting used to. But you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there, sitting on your thumb, wondering what in the hell's poking you in the derriere. That's what you're going to do. Anyway, you can get in contact with me. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. We're talking about the dumbing down of America. Haven't you noticed nobody's talking about our dying dollar out here? Haven't you noticed that? Nobody's talking about it. Not these dumbass Republicans, especially the dumbass Republicans that are in my chat room right now. All right? These idiotic Republicans that are basically closet liberals that have ruined our party. Let me tell you something. All of you damn Republicans that are in this chat room chastising me, spreading personal attacks, slanderous lies about me, you people are idiots. I spit on you people. I hope nothing but bad things happen to you because you are what's ruining this country. You out here spreading all this crap about me and about true conservatives. You're trying to desecrate the American family. You're trying to embrace the social ills that have turned into the social norms. And you don't even acknowledge. This is what I'm telling you, folks. These Republicans don't even want to acknowledge the dying dollar. The dying dollar. Now, everybody's asking, what are you talking about, Ghost? The dying dollar? I got dollars in my pocket. What are you talking about? Well, let me explain something to you, folks. Our dollar right now almost means squat. And if we continue down the path we're going, our dollar is going to be the equivalent of the damn Mexican peso. Okay? And, of course, nobody wants to talk about it.
That's all there is. None of these dumbass Republicans that have shows on BTR, and let me tell you something, I spit on most of them. None of these damn Republicans are talking about the dying dollar. Now, why is that? Why aren't they talking about how the dollar is meaningless? Why aren't they talking about all the stores in New York right now that are no longer accepting the American dollar? How come they're not talking about this, folks? You know, I mean, how come they're not talking about, you know, in New York right now you've got stores that won't accept American money in New York City? You know that? The bottom line is they're accepting euros. And you can look that up if you don't believe me. They are accepting euros in New York. And why? Because they know the American dollar is about to tank, folks. It's about to tank, and none of these Republicans could give two rats' asses. They don't even want you to know about it. They do not want you to know about it. Of course you didn't know about that, folks. These people in the chat room are like, well, I didn't know that. Because these Republicans don't want you to know about it. They don't want you to know about it. They just want you to care about their stupid liberal agenda, and I spit on the Republican Party. I've denounced the Republican Party. They are nothing to me anymore, and any conservative that tries to sit here and say, oh, well, you know what, I'm a conservative Republican, I'm voting for McCain, you're a piece of crap. And you notice none of the candidates are talking about that either? Haven't you noticed that? Haven't you noticed that none of the candidates are talking about our devaluing dollar? On the contrary, they're talking about handouts. Handout health care. Handout health care. Handout everything else. Giving illegals that have devalued the American labor dollar. And what I mean by that is you got 20 million illegals that are in here right now, and you notice that the government isn't doing two rats' asses about it. They're not doing anything to deport these people. As a matter of fact, they're encouraging more and more people to come into this country illegally. And you've got this liberal humanitarian spin. All right, this liberal humanitarian spin that, oh, well, they just want a better life. That's all. They just want a better life. Well, you know, by the illegals coming in here and flooding 20 million people and basically working 25 cents on the dollar, they're ruining the American family's life. And you know what? It's not just the left talking this garbage either about these illegals. It's the right, too, folks. The right wing of this American political spectrum here, they want to give these 20 million illegals amnesty. And then you wonder why it's hard for the American family to even get by in this country. I mean, on top of which, you've got lopsided trade deals that we have with China, we have with Mexico, and every other third world country in this damn international community that have basically shipped out all the manufacturing jobs, all the textile jobs out of America. They're gone. The only thing the United States produces is entertainment and cheeseburgers. That's the only thing we produce. I mean, if you want to go out and get a job, that's about the only place the financial institutions. And that's it. It's a shame, folks. Nobody's talking about it, and we got a call here. We got a call right here from the 419 area code. You're on the air.
Hi, Ghost. This is Heather. AKA.
How you doing, Heather?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Well, just getting a little upset because, you know, of course I've got these people that are so-called Republicans in my chat room trying to discredit me because, well, they know I'm telling the truth, and they don't want the American public to know about it. I think these people are being paid by the liberal agenda out here, in my view.
I think that it's just, I can't really say that it's really an agenda. I just think a lot of people don't know. And I think when you get a sense of when you even walk out in the, you know, on the street or in the stores, people are oblivious as to how bad it really is. Like I always say, because I manage my blog on MySpace, and I've been talking about it for probably the past 3 months, and how within the next 6 months from January, so we're probably in the next 4 months, over 2 million homes are set to reset because of adjustable rate mortgages. That's going to just compound the economic problem when we have 2 million extra homes potentially going up for foreclosure. Because, you know, the people who have those homes, their payments are going to go up by, you know, $200, $300, $400, even $1,000. That's a lot of money that people don't have. I think people pretty much aren't really I'm sure that there's, like, people in high power positions who are being paid off, and I believe 100% in that.
Well, look, let me tell you something. You see this political vindication jerk-off and this ditzy bimbo, Jen of the Jungle. These are two Republicans out here that are mouthpieces here on BTR, and look at what they're doing. I mean, they're flapping their fat Cheeto-stained fingers on the keyboard, spreading logical fallacies about me instead of actually talking about what I'm talking about this evening, and that is the devaluing of the American dollar. And you just put forth all the foreclosures that are about to, basically sweep forth this nation. I mean, these people they have no idea what's in store for this nation economically. And yet, you look at these people, they don't even want to talk about it. And this is why I think that these people are being paid. Or if they're not being paid, they're either been so anesthetized with their own propaganda that they're willing to just go out and spew this garbage for the liberal agenda.
And I see that someone's called me a 9/11 truther. I mean, I guess because I don't consider myself a truther, first of all. I mean, I just have, like, as we see how things have progressed over the past couple of years, I mean, I feel a healthy level of skepticism with the federal government. I mean, we're borrowing money to China that is like the epitome of a socialist communist government to go and force people in Iraq to have democracy. I mean, that makes no sense. Why are we not fighting China to tell them to free their people?
I agree. I agree with that.
I don't understand. It's like there's some level of corruption, and I don't think it's going to be impossible to convince me otherwise. But I hear what you're saying. Exactly. I've been on Jen's show one time, and she didn't let me get a word in edgewise.
Well, she doesn't. She's some big loudmouth bimbo that has no substance. And I hate to use such profanity towards a female, but, I mean, you should hear the amount of dribble that comes out of that woman's hole. It's disgusting. And she's calling herself a Republican. I mean, that's what's sad about it. And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, what we need to understand is instead of making these talking points that these dumbass Republicans that are on BTR out here, these are all talking points. There's no substance behind it. And you see, I'm starting to break through now about what's happening in this country. And what's happening in this country, especially the debt, especially our devaluing of the American dollar. I mean, what's unfortunate is that none of these people are talking about it, nor do they want to talk about it. They want to just divert the American mindset's attention off of it and onto these ridiculous talking points that they spew off on their programs each time.
And I find it so funny that they are allowed to have talking points, but no one else can. It's like we're still supposed to focus on these Islamo-fascists, and I believe that they're out there. I'm not naive to not know that they're out there, but I also think that we have an enemy in the White House in terms of, I mean, I feel like it's almost being purposely done so that they can devalue the dollar and ruin the economy so much that America is essentially going to be sold on the world market to the highest bidder.
Well, I'm really starting to catch wind of that. I mean, as the economic landscape of America begins to implode, I mean, it's not explode, this is implode.
Absolutely.
I believe that we are heading down a road where we are seeing the systematic transition from what we know of as our republic, which is based on democracy. We are seeing a transition from that into a quasi-socialist communist government. And the only reason I suggest that is because of all the people that are on the presidential nomination circuit out here, Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rotten Clinton, John Turncoat McCain. All these people want more and more bureaucracy, more and more government regulation. And what I don't like about McCain especially is not only is his record, semi-pro socialist in his complete abuse of power. I mean, he's wiped his derriere with the First Amendment of the Constitution with McCain-Feingold. But on top of which, I believe that this man is going to, implement more and more regulation on us. I wouldn't be surprised if he suppressed our right to freedom of speech. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if anything happens. And you see, what pisses me off about McCain is that he wants to continue the war, which I'm not against, but he wants to continue the war in Syria, Iran, Pakistan, in the name of implementing democracy. But how can you implement democracy in the international community when it's being taken away right here in America is my question. And, of course, none of these Republicans even want to talk about that. They don't even care about that. And the Democrats, they're just loving this. Haven't you noticed that every Democrat or everybody who's of the left of the political persuasion, they think this is the greatest of times?
I agree 100%. I mean, they're getting probably the most benefit out of the, I guess, the discontent within the Republican Party. They have the most to benefit out of anyone. And I feel like, and like going back to the war, I know this is like the oldest topic in the world, but it's really difficult for me to support even the war in Iraq. I mean, if it would have just stayed in Afghanistan, it would have been a lot more justification. But when you start moving it to other theaters, and now we're talking about Iran, and now we're talking about, just pretty much going at the Middle East full throttle. I mean, it's like we need a little bit more proof, and I think the lack of proof is pretty much just telling me that this is a war for selected interests only. It's not going to be for everyone. And I think that's probably the beginning of socialist government. Only a select amount of people benefit from this war. I think there's like a delusion that we're probably going to be safer. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
Well, I really don't know what to believe anymore. I mean, so much stuff is coming to the public light right now. I mean, and if you read between the lines, I mean, don't just sit here and spew off and just take for face value what CNN, MSNBC are telling you. They're telling us half the truth. We just need to go beyond that. What we need to understand, and somebody who just posted a New York Times article about the euro being accepted in New York. I mean, this is a serious problem.
Yeah,
and I don't understand why the Republicans, and let me tell you, I've renounced the Republican Party. I spit on it now. I don't understand, with the exception of Ron Paul, why nobody else is talking about the American dollar being completely devalued to the point where it's going to be null and void. It's just going to be a piece of paper. I mean, the dollar is going to be nothing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, I think that's just going to be the biggest thing that happens probably within the next couple of weeks. I mean, the stock market's down over the past 2 days. It's not down by much, but it's still down in an economy that's supposedly supposed to be growing. And I think that as time gets closer to maybe that bourse, I don't know if you looked that up yet, the bourse in Iran.
No, actually I haven't. You know what? I'm sorry. Let me write that down to look. But enlighten everybody that doesn't know.
The bourse is a situation in Iran, and by the end of the end of February, it's supposed to be implemented. The bourse is designed to pretty much be the market for Iran. Iran is going to begin the process of selling their own oil and oil products on the world market, which is fine and good. However, with this bourse, they're going to go ahead and they're going to stop taking the dollar altogether, and they're only going to take the euro. Now, I know a lot of people like to use the argument that a lot of countries get their oil from Iran, but they kind of split it up from, some of them get it from Canada, some of them get it from South America, some get it from Mexico. I mean, they do split it up, but the fact that the bourse is only going to accept the euro, the influx of people who are going to start exchanging their dollar that do buy oil from Iran, it's just going to devalue the dollar even further. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by when this bourse does open that the dollar is below the euro by the end of this month. And to top it all off, I can't think of the name, but it's the Union for all of the Middle Eastern countries. They're already talking about switching to the euro by 2010. For the purchasing of all oil, but throughout the entire Middle East, they're expecting to only start taking the euro by 2010.
And this is really disturbing, and I don't understand why Republicans aren't talking about it. And I can only deduce that the only reason the Republicans aren't talking about it is because they are involved in the liberal agenda to socialize or create a quasi-communist government here in America. And the route to do that is to devalue our currency, which what they are doing right now. And when I heard that there are shops in New York City accepting the euro and completely just not even utilizing the American dollar or even thinking about accepting it anymore, it makes me sick. And why Republicans aren't talking about this, I can only deduce that these people are involved with it.
I agree. It's really to the point where it's so covered up, and people really don't know a lot about it. I mean, I don't watch a lot of TV. I typically do get my news off of the internet. So I'm not sure if it has been talked about at least one time, but I haven't heard it at all. And that is very, very scary, that this can come upon people, especially by the end of this month or potentially by 2010, where the dollar is dropped and the media did not do their jobs in notifying people that this could potentially happen. It's just very scary to me. It really is scary.
It's very scary. Are you kidding me? And nobody is talking about it. If you go on all these ridiculous BTR Republicans, I mean, you can forget about the left. I mean, the left is embracing it. They want socialism, communism. They want this crap. But Republicans that used to be for less government, fiscal responsibility, I mean, you know the premise of the Republican Party. These nimrods on the Blog Talk Radio Network that are calling themselves Republicans are not talking about the American dollar being flushed down the toilet. And what's unfortunate is that you got so much proof around you. All right, I mean, especially people in the United States. It's not just shops in New York City. I hear that you've got rappers. I think Jay-Z, that ridiculous peanut head piece of trash that I particularly hate because he's a fake gangster rapper, just like most of these products that are sold to us by the liberal media. But he himself is admitted that you can only buy his album, from what I understand, in euros. Am I wrong?
Oh, I haven't heard that one. I wouldn't be surprised, but I haven't heard that. That's something I'd probably have to research, but I'm pretty sure that if it did happen, because so many people are just like not really understanding the significance of it, that they would probably read that and then move on and not really share it with other people because they don't know how significant it is, especially in the black community, which I am a member of. I mean, it's going to be like you're trying to tell people are just kind of like, you know, trying to survive in a lot of cases. People who do predominantly, well, not predominantly, but that do, you know, buy rap music. I mean, they're trying to survive, so they really don't understand the significance, and that's where the media comes into play, that if he did say something like that, we would hope that that would be broadcast, because that's very significant. I mean, he sells a lot of albums.
It's scary. It's scary because no one, I mean, I'm talking about it now because it's come into life. I've done my research. I understand now what's happening to our American dollar. You're seeing it right now, first of all. I mean, you got to look at economics in several different fashions. First of all, you have to look at the fact that we have imbalanced trade deals that were signed by these power-hungry, autocrat, bureaucratic pieces of trash in Washington that basically signed these lopsided trade deals in favor of countries like China, like Mexico, and other third-world nations that produce most of our products. Okay, we've got lopsided trade deals that have taken the means of production out of the United States, which basically leaves those people that used to work in those industries here in America jobless. Those businesses and the means of production are out of America. Then you've got to take in consideration that you've got an immigration problem that's being embraced by the government of the United States of America by, first of all, either not putting a fence or some sort of barrier around the border, and on top of which, they want to give the 20 million illegal immigrants in this country amnesty. These are the people, and look, I'm not trying to say that these people don't want to make their families better. I understand why they're over here, but they're in here illegally. And you see, they're devaluing the cost of labor. That means people are getting paid less in industry sectors that used to pay pretty well, that used to be able to support a family and whatnot. Well, you can't support a family anymore because you have to compete not only with all the jobs that have been exported out of America, but with all the illegal immigration that's devaluing the American labor. Now you take that on top of all the debt that we are incurring, not only as a nation via credit, via the subprime mortgage loans, the whole 9 yards. You got to take the national debt into consideration, and all these factors, you put them all into the equation, and it's only a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. It's just the mass amount. I'm not going to, I don't want to monopolize or take too much of your time. Plus, I'm getting a call on my cell phone, so I'm going to go back to just listening in a few seconds. But
go ahead.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I've watched kind of how your view has evolved a little bit. And I'm really impressed that people are actually perceptive of actually what's going on, that there are people out there that see it, you know, besides a select few of us who now, I mean, it's like it's really scary to me. I mean, even the government, I cannot think of the group that, the Middle Eastern, I can't think of what it's called. I'm going to search an article and then I'm going to post it in the chat room.
Okay.
But they have even said that we try not to talk about it in public about transitioning to the euro by 2010. We need to get out of these countries. For me, in my opinion, I really think we need to start leaving, and we need to really, really start reevaluating so we can maintain our sovereignty, because right now it's really designed for us to fail.
It really is. I mean, it's a shame. It really is a shame.
But I thank you so much, Ghost. If there's something else, I want to make sure that you know I'll call in before the show is over.
Absolutely. You're always welcome to call in, and thank you for calling in, Heather.
Thank you so much. Have a good night. I'm still listening, though.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and you see, folks, I mean, it is a real scary time, and this is what I'm telling you. It's not about Republicans. It's not about Democrats, because Republican and Democrats, folks, it's the same crap, different plate. Okay? It doesn't matter who you vote for in this election. They're both going to put more bureaucracy, more government regulation, more government in our faces, and they're going to give all the 20 million illegal immigrants that are devaluing the cost of labor, they're going to give them amnesty. And what people just don't understand is, on top of that, we have the means of production outside of the United States of America. We don't produce anything anymore, folks. We don't produce anything anymore. You know what we produce? Entertainment and cheeseburgers. That's all that matters. And you see, you got Republicans that are in here saying, "Oh, it does matter who you vote for. You got to vote for John McCain because he's the great second coming." Whatever these people are saying. Bottom line is, folks, John McCain is 2 issues away from being a full-blown liberal. Okay? First issue, he claims to be pro-life, which I don't believe. But if you want to believe that, go ahead. The second issue that makes him not liberal is his foreign policy. And what is his foreign policy? He wants to extend the wars. He wants to go beyond Iraq and Afghanistan, go into Iran, Syria, Pakistan, which I'm not completely against, but we are going into the Middle East, at least I thought, to go out and sow the seeds of democracy. I mean, isn't that what we were supposed to go out to do? How are we going to implement democracy in the international community when we have a president, if McCain becomes president, and if he does, I'm thinking about leaving the country. How are we going to implement democracy in the international community when we've got McCain, who's going to implement more government bureaucracy, who's going to take away democracy from us? I don't understand that. And you see, look at Flag Raiser, or whatever her fruity-ass name is. She's sitting here and saying, I'm a liar, I'm a ridiculous buffoon, I don't know what I'm talking about, and yet she's not saying anything of any substance. You see, this is what I'm telling you, folks. These people on the right are no longer Republicans anymore. These are liberals that have no substance to their debates whatsoever. And I'm giving you substance, folks. I'm telling you where we're headed. If you don't believe me, look it up for yourself. Our dollar is being devalued to the point where it's just completely rendered meaningless. It's going to be a piece of paper. We're just incurring a national debt that I don't know when the hell we're going to pay for, how we're going to pay for it. We've got the devaluing of the cost of labor via these illegal immigrants, and yet these people don't want to talk about it. They want to call me names. Haven't you noticed this, folks? All of you people that are in the chat room, I hope all of you are witnessing this. I hope all of you are witnessing it, and these are Republicans. These aren't left-wing communists. These are Republicans, folks. So all you people that are conservatives, that still believe in the Constitution, that still believe in American sovereignty, that still believe in fiscal responsibility, that still believe in social conservatism, don't vote for any of these people. And don't let these damn Republicans convince you otherwise, because they're fake, they're liberals, they know it, and I know it. That's why they're so pissed off at me, folks. That's why they're so upset. That's why they're flapping their fat Doritos-stained fingers on the keyboard trying to, spread logical fallacies about me. You know it and I know it, and all these ridiculous Republicans know it too. And they should all be ashamed of themselves. All of them. All of them. That's all there is to it. That's all there is. I mean, I remember when America used to mean something. All right? I mean, I remember when the Republican Party used to mean something. Remember when the Republican Party was less government? Remember that, folks? Remember when the Republican Party was about fiscal responsibility? Remember that, folks? Do you remember when the Republican Party was about the Constitution? Do you remember that, folks? Well, it's no longer that, okay? And you all can continue to follow this liberal doctrine of the Republican Party, but I'm not going to do it. And Preacher Politics, glad to see you once again this evening. He just asked me in the chat room, who am I going to vote for? Who am I going to vote for? I'm not voting for anybody, Preacher Politics. I'm not voting for any of these people. These people are all liberals. They all want the transition of our democratic republic, our constitutional republic. They want to take it away, and they want to put in socialism. They want to put in socialism, bottom line. That's the bottom line. They want to put in socialist government. If you don't believe me, go ahead and take a look around you. All right? I mean, you got a lot of people in here that are all obviously of the same clique that are trying to spread slanderous lies. And the reason I keep them in my chat room, folks, is because they're proving my point. They're proving my point. Republicans aren't about the issues anymore. Republicans aren't about, discussing what's going on with America. They don't care. They're utilizing the same methods of agitation as the left. You notice that this ridiculous, dumb, ditzy bimbo who actually, married a foreigner, which I don't understand how that's Republican, but this broad Jen of the jungle. You notice how she's sitting here just spewing off nothing but personal attacks, logical fallacies. She's not debating anything I'm saying right here in this program. Haven't you noticed that? Haven't you noticed that she's not saying anything about the devaluing of the dollar? Notice that she's not even talking about how our dollar is being rendered useless. Notice how she's not talking about a damn thing. And she's a Republican. This is what I'm talking about, folks. The Republican Party is no longer Republican. All right? No longer Republican. So, and all these people can continue to spread logical fallacies, but that's all they're doing. There's no actual substance behind their rhetoric. No kind of substance behind their rhetoric. Anyway, 646-652-4869. The subject of this show is the dumbing down of America. And as you can see in my chat room, folks, and if you happen to be out there listening on another part of the internet, get back to us right here at www.blogtalkradio.com/ghost and click the chat room option and take a look at all these pieces of trash in here. Jen of the Jungle, some idiot named, whatever his name, all these pieces of crap. Listen to them. They're not saying a damn thing. I mean, can we talk about the Jen of the Jungle? Why don't you call up right now and talk about your perspective on the American dollar being completely decimated? How about that? You know what I'm saying? How about that? Why don't we talk about the American dollar being decimated? Let's talk about why they're accepting euros in shops in New York instead of the American dollar. Let's talk about that. But no, she's not going to talk about that. She's going to call up with her ditzy little sentence fragments that we all come to know and love with Jen, and she's going to say, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, that's all she's going to say. She has no substance. She's a moron. And none of these people, that's all they're going to do is continue to talk garbage on my chat room, and they can continue to do so. I could care less. I really could care less. Just as long as there's folks out there, and you don't have to believe in everything I say. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not telling you how to feel. You see, these Republicans, they're telling you how to feel. They're telling you how to believe. They're saying, look, I know that the Republican Party used to be conservative, but you know what? You need to vote against your conservative principles this time around. Turn a blind eye to the fact that John McCain is a blatant socialist. Just turn a blind eye to it, go into the voting booth and vote for him because you need to maintain loyalty to the party. That's what people like Jen and Political Vindication and all these ridiculous wannabe Republicans that are on this Blog Talk Radio network, that's what they're telling you to do. They're telling you, hey, you are nothing but sheep and you need to do what I tell you. That's what they're telling you to do. And all I'm asking, folks, is for you to discuss this. All right? I mean, take these points that I'm saying to you and discuss them with your neighbor. Discuss them with your family. Discuss them with your friends. Discuss them with anybody and say, hey, did you know about the American dollar tanking? Do you know about that? And they're going to say, what are you talking about? American dollar? I got $100 in my pocket. What are you talking about? No, you have to tell them that, you know, that in New York City, some of these big-time, high-end, ritzy, glitzy, glamorous shops out here are no longer taking the American dollar. They're taking the euro dollar. Why are they taking the euro dollar if this is an American company on American soil? Why are they taking the euro dollar? Because they know the dollar is worth diddly. It's worth diddly. Bottom line. And nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody on the left. As a matter of fact, the people on the left of the political persuasion, Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rotten Clinton, they want the American dollar to tank. As a matter of fact, some of the initiatives that they're pushing, they're going to make it tank. I mean, hand out health care. Hand out health care. I mean, a gentleman told me last night, if you think health care is expensive now, you wait till it's free. And you take a look at all these ridiculous wannabe socialist healthcare systems throughout the international community, and take a look at the waiting lists. Let's say you were suffering from a heart attack. How about that? Let's say you were suffering from a heart attack, and we were in the phases of handout healthcare. Do you imagine how long you'd have to wait before you saw anybody, and then went through the bureaucratic channels before you finally were able to get on an operating table? Could you just imagine? And that's exactly what's happening in Canada. I mean, I talked to a man on this show that stated, hey, I had to wait in line to get open heart surgery. I mean, there was a clear x-ray showing a blockage of his artery, and the man had to wait a couple of months to get into damn surgery. And this is what the left wants, I'm telling you, folks. This is exactly what the left wants, and I don't want it. And let me tell you, if you're a true American person, you shouldn't want it either. As a matter of fact, you should be asking yourself questions. I mean, ask yourself some questions. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why isn't anybody talking about it? The reason nobody's talking about it, folks, is because we are seeing a systematic transition into socialist, quasi-communist kind of government. And all these people, it doesn't matter who you vote for, all these people are going to implement their agenda, and their agenda is more government bureaucracy, more government regulations, the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards. And that's not what America was about, folks. All right, that's not what it's... And you see, this goes back to all the social ills that are becoming the social norms. All right, why do you think that this government wants to get rid of the American family? Huh? Well, why do you think that? Why do you think they're getting rid of the American family? Because the American family gives people the motivation to go out and work and to perpetuate a better life for their future generations. But now that we have a prevalence of single-parent families in America, why do people have the motivation to work? They don't. They're rendered helpless. So that's why you have so many government subsidies being handed out to single-parent families. You know that government institutions that hand out these ridiculous subsidies and welfare, government cheese, all this garbage. All right, all these people, all these bureaucracies that are out there handing out this money. Whenever a woman who is married who goes to these organizations for help, you know what they advise these women to do? They advise these women to go out and get a divorce. Yeah, they tell them, you could probably get more money if you got divorced, or if you and your husband split up, you probably get a heck of a lot more money. That's what they tell them, man. And this is your government. This is your tax-paying dollars that are telling this. They are systematically destroying the American family because it'll be that much easier to transition into a socialist, quasi-communist government. That's what I'm telling you, folks. And if you don't have to believe me. Just do your own research. This is what I'm talking about, the dumbing down of America. Do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Go to a library. Start reading up on this garbage. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm a true conservative, folks. I'm a foot soldier for the American family. I don't believe that the social ills should be the social norms out here. I mean, if you take a look through history, take a look at Rome when it fell, and take a look at the social landscape of Rome right before the empire fell, it looks eerie to what's going on right here in America. Real eerie. If you take a look at Greece, and take a look at the social landscape of Greece at the time it fell, it looks very eerie to what you're seeing right here in America. And nobody's talking about this, folks. And you notice that these Republican pieces of trash that were in here flapping their fat fingers on the keyboard, spreading all kinds of slanderous lies, four-letter words, personal attacks at me, left with their tail between their legs. You want to know why they left with their tail between their legs? Because they know I'm telling the truth. And they know that there's a lot of people listening to me, a lot of people that listen to them listen to me also, and they don't want to be exposed. They don't want to be contradicted. They don't want to be brought out as a hypocrite. They don't want to be questioned because they'll stumble over their own tongue like Al Gore trying to explain how he invented the internet. That's what they're like, Jen of the Jungle. Why the hell do you think she left? Because she knows she's an imbecile. She knows she's a part of this whole scheme of things. Either she's being paid by these liberals to spew off her mindless sentence fragment-ridden garbage, or she is so anesthetized with all this liberal trash that she's just doing it out of her own free will. I have no idea. I have no idea. But I don't care, to be honest with you. I don't care. These people are contributing to the downfall of society. They are contributing to the downfall of society. And why nobody is talking about this, and please, folks, like I stated, you don't have to agree with everything I say. As a matter of fact, you don't have to agree with anything I say. We still have the freedom of thought, at least for the time being. We still have the freedom of thought in this country. All I'm asking you to do is go out and read for yourself. This is all fact. Everything I'm telling you is a fact. The American dollar is tanking. Nobody's talking about it. As a matter of fact, all people are doing in this country is shoving food down their gullet like a damn garbage disposal. That's all they're doing, sitting back watching the boob tube, watching American Idol. That's what these people are worried about. That's all there is to it. I mean, this is what the dumbing down of America is, folks. They don't want you to understand this crap. Anyway, folks, I'm sitting here, I'm a true conservative. I'm a foot soldier for the American family, and I do not agree with this government structure that we're living in right now that's perpetuating. That's perpetuating the absolute decimation of the American family. Anyway, give me a call right now, 646-652-4869. Give me some of your opinions. I mean, by all means, give me some of your opinions out here. I mean, look, I love America, folks. I love the United States Constitution. Our forefathers were one of the most brilliant people on the face of the planet. I mean, the Constitution is one of the most brilliant documents ever written by man. It gave unalienable rights to humanity that didn't exist prior to this construction of the Constitution. I mean, before that, it was kings and queens and monarchies and ridiculous garbage like that. That's all there is to it, folks. Like I stated, folks, I'm waiting for somebody to give me a call right now, and just give me your thoughts. 646-652-4869. I mean, give me a call. I mean, stop sitting on your thumbs out there and do your own research. You see 50 and retired over here saying, oh, I can't stay. I'm going to go watch boxing, a damn rigged sport, just like every sport in America, rigged. I mean, I'm going to go watch it like a Nimrodic buffoonery and anesthetize myself with ridiculous entertainment that means absolutely nothing and just completely deny the decimation of the American family, completely deny the decimation of the American Constitution, completely deny the decimation of the American dollar. But you know what? I'm going to go watch a couple of idiots in a boxing ring, go ahead and do battle with each other. There we go. That's great. You know, good for you there, 50 and retired. You're great. You're a great American. Give me a break, man. And look, it's your right. I don't care if you go watch boxing. I don't care if you watch sports. It's your right. But all I'm saying, folks, is just don't think that that's what life's about, sitting on your fat ass, shoveling, food in your damn hole like a garbage disposal, getting fat in the ass. watching a bunch of propaganda anesthetized to us through television. I mean, just don't do that. Don't do that. Discuss these things. Research these things. Do it for yourself. I mean, pick up a book, damn it. Pick up a damn book. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know that whenever you advise somebody to go pick up a book, read a little bit, what happens? Nothing. They don't want to do it. As a matter of fact, if you ask the average young person if they like to read, what do? Oh, no, I don't like to read. You don't like to read because you're an absolute Nimrodic buffoonery. And you need to take the head out of your clogged up colon pipe. You piece of crap. Pick up a book. Read something. Anyway, folks, you're listening to True Conservative Radio right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. You can get back to me right now, 646-652-4869. Let me go ahead and kick. Hey, everybody see Hodis? Hey, Hodis. Bye, Hodis. Piece of crap. You see, I just don't understand why people come into my chat room and try to spread logical fallacies and four-letter words and all kinds of bogus garbage about me. I think these people are, they're trying to divert everybody's attention. The bottom line, they're trying to get everybody off track, in my view. Nobody wants to talk about these subject matters, and I told all of you people, I mean, look at all the Republicans that were in here spreading logical fallacies, and once I started calling them out, once I started saying, hey, what about our American dollar? Hey, what about the 20 million illegals that are devaluing the cost of labor? Hey, what about the decimation of the American family? Hey, what about the damn Constitution being wiped on the derriere of all the power-hungry autocrats in in Washington? None of these people want to talk about it. They left with their tail between their legs because they know I'm telling the damn truth. And that's all there is to it, folks. They know I'm telling the truth. And that's why I'm telling all you folks out there, y'all are probably all good American folks. I mean, we all want what like everybody wants. We just want a family. We just want to have good times with our families and understand that life itself is nothing more than a dream. I mean, there's a lot of people that take this life way too seriously. They want to sit here and say, hey, look at me, I'm more important than you because I've got this amount of money. I'm richer than you, so that makes me better than you. I mean, just look at the media, for Christ's sake. I mean, that's what they're perpetuating out here. Let me tell you something, folks. Life is nothing more than good memories. And if you're out there slaving yourself, if you're out there, giving yourself gray hairs and wrinkles on your face and just, calm down for a second. Just calm down and understand that all we can do is make as much of the time that we're here as possible. I mean, we just have to look at our children and say, you know what, I mean, I hope that I did a good job, and hopefully they can perpetuate a better generation to the next one. So on and so forth. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, man. I mean, that's all I'm asking. I'm not suggesting anything other than we need to understand that life itself is about perpetual good times, man. Whatever makes you feel good about yourself, about your environment, about your surroundings, well, then continue doing it. Continue doing it while we still can do it. Before we have some sort of socialist, quasi-communist government shove itself down our holes. Because I can smell the stench of it. And let me tell you something, it smells pretty rotten. It smells like a clogged up colon hole. Let me tell you that right now, it smells so goddamn rotten. And it pisses me off. It actually makes me want to break something. I mean, sometimes I sit here and I think about the dumbing down of America. If you ask the average high school student any kind of question, and I challenge you to do so. I challenge all of you to talk to somebody who's in public education, who's in high school. Just ask them a simple question. Ask them a couple of questions. They're going to be like, I don't know. I don't know. That's all you're going to hear. Because they don't read, folks. You know, I mean, ask a young person if they like to read. They're going to say, "Oh, I don't like to read." That's what they're going to say. How are you going to not like to read? I don't understand this. I mean, all the information is in words, man. You know, I'm telling you, I just, sometimes I take these big sighs, I look at the sky a little bit every time that I'm in my back porch out here. I've got a back porch right that leads outside of my bedroom out here. Sometimes I sit out at nights, look up into the sky, take a look at all the stars that are beaming back at me through thousands and thousands of light years traveled. I look at the moon, I look at all this intergalactic, you know, mosaic that's in the sky. And I say to myself, you know, why am I even bothering? You know, I mean, and I start to think as cynically as some of these sheeple out here, you know. This is how these sheeple start thinking, you know. They look at the boob tube, they look at Paris Hilton, they're like, oh my God, I want to be like her. They look at these ridiculous stars that are setting the foundation to life itself, and I want to be like that person. No, who cares about humanity? Who cares about the tanking dollar? Who cares that we're being transitioned into a quasi-socialist communist government? Who cares? I want to be like them. And it's hard to keep optimism alive, man. It's really hard to keep optimism alive. To be honest with you, it really is. Because right now, I mean, like I said, I was a lifelong Republican, okay? I mean, a staunch Republican. A mean Republican that meant what he said what he meant. And now I've got Republicans that used to be on my side, and all you folks that have joined me here in the chat room on Blog Talk Radio Network, you saw it firsthand for yourself. Political vindication, some wannabe piece of trash Republican. Jen of the Jungle, some ditzy bimbo wannabe Republican. All these people that were in here spreading logical fallacies, four-letter words about me, the whole nine, what happened? They left. Why did they leave? Because they know I was telling the truth. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the phones here and see what's going on. 416, you're on the air.
Hello. So your name is Ghost?
Yeah.
Have you been on the show for a long time?
Yeah, for a minute. Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, okay. So your early edition. Okay, so what are we talking? We're talking about politics in the day of you talking about what's going on in the world according to Americans, or the politics behind the states. Can you break it down a little bit? What it is that you might want to talk about that I can maybe offer some advice?
Well, hold on just one second. The bottom line is that I'm just talking about things that are happening. And I know that was Jen, okay? I'm not stupid. That's why I clicked her off. She sounds like she's, probably got a little too close to a bottle of beer. You know? They're, a little too close to a cheap bottle of hooch. She's calling up here, probably had a couple of packs of Camels, trying to change her voice a little bit. Look, the bottom line is I'm just talking, okay? I'm talking about the United States of America. That's the bottom line. The United States of America. I love every American person that's here, okay? I don't care. There's no racial divide with me. I don't care what race you are. If you're an American, if you were here, if your parents, if you, your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors spilled blood for this country, built this country, helped facilitate this great social experiment, then you're an American, and you're just as important to me as every other American. But we're losing it, folks. We're damn losing it. We've got the American dollar crippling, and of course the Republicans aren't talking about it. We're seeing a transition into a socialist government, and nobody's talking about it, and this goes back to the dumbing down of America. The absolute dumbing down of America. And I hope that I get a little bit, some people mad out there. I know that there's some people gritting their teeth, you know, they're, oh, damn that ghost, he's a piece of trash. And, I mean, I get hate mail all the time that I should be thrown in jail. I should be thrown in jail for saying, I actually have people writing in this that I should be thrown in jail just for saying my piece, my mind. It's just sad, man. It's just a sad situation that we're living in out here, folks. It really is. I mean, all I want to do is to perpetuate the American dream. But the further and further we get into the future, it seems to me that the American dream is just being withered away, up in smoke. Absolutely nothing. And no one gives two rats' asses, damn it! Wake up! I'm not telling you to do anything. All I'm telling you to do is go out and read for this yourself, and you'll understand once all this starts really happening in your face, you'll remember this loud man on BTR. You're going to remember, hey, you know what? He was right. I mean, the devaluing of the American dollar, he was right. And you can look at it for yourself, folks. Go and look it up for yourself. In New York City right now, there are shops that are accepting euro dollars that won't accept your hard-earned American dollar. You know that? I mean, just imagine going into the supermarket, all right? Just imagine going into the supermarket and pulling out about a $100 bill and having a cashier saying, no, I'm sorry, we don't accept that. Just imagine doing it. Here you are, you're trying to buy something, you pull out a $100 bill. Everybody's always impressed with the Benjamin Franklin, you know what I'm saying? Everybody always loves to see that $100 bill. Just imagine putting that on the table and having some neurotic $8 an hour cashier saying, look, we don't accept that, sorry. Well, what do you accept? Well, we accept euros. Euros? I mean, isn't that short for European, you piece of crap? This is an American dollar. And, of course, nobody's talking about it, folks. Anyway, I'm going back to the phones. 513, you're on the air.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
How you doing, Go?
Well, I'm just fine. I'm just trying to, sit here and boggle my mind on why people aren't talking about certain things. But what's going on with you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
What do you want to talk about this evening?
I don't know what to talk about. Can you give me some hints, buddy?
Well, I mean, we're talking about how America is being transitioned into a half-socialist, communist type of government. And at the same time...
I'm a Democrat.
You're a Democrat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who are you voting for?
Hillary.
Hillary? Why are you voting for Hillary?
I don't know. We need a lady president. She might change us around, change the country around.
What's the main issue that's making you vote for her?
She was my favorite of the president's wife.
Oh, so it was your favorite, what are you talking about, Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
What did you like about Bill Clinton that was so great?
The Americans didn't go to no war and stuff. All the American stuff.
They didn't go to war and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I thank you very much for calling there, sir, and, you provided some great insight there.
I did. Thank you, sir.
No problem. No problem. Anyway, we see the fact that, people are out here, they're voting. I tried to see, why people are voting for the way they're voting, but this is what I'm talking about, folks. People need to wake up, man. I mean, we need to just read a little bit, all right? Just turn off the damn television, okay? Turn off the boob tube, all right? Stop watching all this ridiculous garbage and read a book a little bit. Or bottom line, you've got, all of you that are listening to me, that are within the sound of my voice, have an internet connection. I mean, you've got, literally libraries that are the equivalent of 1,000 lifetimes right here on your fingertips. I mean, do your own research, folks. That's all I'm saying, okay? That is all I'm saying. The American dollar is tanking. I mean, I bet you there's some people in here that think they're big ballers. You know, they got a big fat wad of cash. You know what I mean? They flash it out. Hey, I'm balling. But to be honest with you, that means diddly squat. You know what? You take that big fat wad of cash, you go to Europe and pull out that big fat wad of cash, and those Europeans will be like, oh, you stupid American. We take the euro. That's what we take over here. We take the euro. That's what I'm saying, folks. I'm telling you, the American dollar is being decimated. We have a tremendous debt out here. A tremendous debt that's not only being incurred by the wars that we're conducting, but the social programs that are basically mooching the government teat to death. Just don't understand what's going on out here, man. How come nobody's talking about this crap? I mean, look, you don't have to be the most articulate person in the world to understand these things. You don't have to be some great academic prodigy of the community of intelligence. You don't have to be any of these things. All you have to do is take observation, common sense, cognitive reasoning, and a little bit of intellectual curiosity, put it all together, and you've got yourself a decent person out here. But, of course, you know, people don't want to do that. Like I've stated previous, you know, people think that, you know, reading a book is the equivalent of getting a rectal exam. Seriously. I mean, people will not read a damn book. And if they do get a book, haven't you noticed that people that read a book, they only read about maybe a couple of chapters, and then they think they read the whole damn thing? It's just sad. I mean, you know, and it's this public education system, folks, that's dumbing down America. Public education is dumbing down America. And let me tell you, I have a lot of professor friends of mine that are over here by the local university. And, you know, sometimes I like to go and see them. We have great conversations. We talk to some of the students out there at the university. And it amazes me that you've got university students that are just as oblivious as these people graduating from high school. I mean, you got these people that don't know their asses from their elbow. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And Heather, if you tried to call, I'm sorry. Go ahead and call back. I've just been hopping around over here, you know, in my room. I'm about to throw something out my damn window. I'm about to kick my TV in or something. I mean, I definitely want to break something. Here, I got a billy club. Where's that damn billy club? Well, luckily I can't find it because I was going to start breaking something right now. Because I just don't understand why nobody else is talking about this. All everybody's talking about is, and I don't mean to make fun of the gentleman that called in about Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry, sir. But I tried to ask you why you're voting for Hillary Clinton, and you said because you like Bill Clinton. I asked you why you like Bill Clinton. You said because there was no wars. Well, with all due respect, sir, we were in a war in Serbia. I don't know if you remember that. But we were in a war to prevent supposed Muslim genocide, so technically it's a moot point. But this is what I'm talking about. And Hip Talk Radio is asking who I'm voting for. I'm not voting for anybody in the presidential election. I'm not voting for any of these people because all of them want the liberal socialist government that this damn country is being transitioned to, and I'm not going to participate in the demise of this country. If you people want to turn a blind eye to the Constitution, if you people want to turn a blind eye to your own American principles, if you people want to help the socialist quasi-communist government that's going to be implemented in this America, well, then you go out and vote because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not contributing to the destruction of this country. Damn it, I'm not contributing to the... Let me take a call here. 419, you're on the air.
Hey.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for going a little... I mean...
No problem.
Don't understand. I mean, I hope people hear my frustration. I mean, you know, it doesn't take that much intelligence to understand what's going on out here.
Absolutely. I'm waiting anxiously that when I listen to your show that you actually start breaking stuff. I mean, people need to I laugh about it. I laugh at your frustration, but it's like, because I see how people still don't get it. It's really like you're talking to a wall sometimes. And I'm so glad that Jen left. I mean, I find her very pretentious and annoying. And I think it's just basically her accent that pretty much draws people into her show. Because she's really not saying anything. I mean,
no, she doesn't. You know, she really doesn't say a damn thing. And I've listened to her show a couple of times, and it's usually the same 10 schmucks that have about, you know, the same equivalent type of show as she does on BTR that go and listen to her. I mean, it's like this Republican clique around these parts out here, and it makes me sick. They don't want to deviate from, I guess, the status quo of what they believe in. They don't want to look at the obvious, and I wanted to ask if you noticed. Did you notice once I started confronting political vindication, Jen of the Jungle, and all these ridiculous wannabe Republicans that were just in my chat room right now, spreading lies and personal attacks at me, once I started confronting them and saying, look, why don't you call into me and tell me about the devaluing of the dollar? Why don't you tell me about it and tell me I'm wrong? She left, he left, they all left.
Absolutely. And because they know that it's a big issue that's being kind of swept under the rug and like hoping that it goes away just in time, that, you know, the media will begin to talk about it after we recover from the dollar collapsing. They're hoping, you know, like a has-been event that everyone talks about once it's over. But, I mean, it's not going to be that. So they know that they can't really, you know, they can't go against it. And they can't even, you know, have a discourse about it because they don't know what it's about. If they knew what it was about, then they wouldn't have the shows that they do on a nightly basis.
Absolutely right. And you're absolutely right about that. And as a matter of fact, you know, and I hate to keep harping on Jen because, you know, it gives her a little credence whenever I talk about her. But, you know, she does bring in a couple of people into her show, and these people actually believe this ditzy piece of trash that has absolutely no substance. And you know what her talking points are? Oh, libtards and liberals suck. I mean, these ridiculous, dumb talking points that have no substance to them, instead of talking about the issues, which the Republicans used to do. Mm-hmm. Now I don't know what they're about anymore.
I know, it's like, I look at, like you said, her talking points are so bizarre to me. It's like, you know, calling names. It's like, okay, who cares? You know, and I mean, the name calling is beyond juvenile at this point because, I mean, we're really at like a point in this country where we are literally hanging on by a thread. And
I agree.
We're calling names, not necessarily against you. I mean, like the way that she's like, liberals are stupid, liberals are dumb, but we need to focus on the issues.
We really do. I mean, let's take the heads out of our asses and let's put it back on the top of our shoulders and read and study and understand what is going on here. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist. I mean, all I'm suggesting, and if you don't want to go into that extensive of detail or that extensive of research, just Google the American economy. That's all I'm asking you to do. And Google New York euros. Read that a little bit and understand that there are American companies now in America that are no longer accepting the American dollar. And you see, I don't understand why this doesn't concern folks. They're no longer accepting the American dollar, and they're accepting the euro dollar. Now, to me, I think that's concerning on an economic scale, but I think that's borderline treason on a business owner scale, because I'm a business owner. I mean, what if I decided to do that crap? I mean, I would only be perpetuating the problem, don't you think?
Absolutely. And, I mean, I'm not quite sure. You sound like you are from the South. I mean, that would be like an uproar from the community. Like, you know, you're in America. Why are you accepting this euro?
Well, yeah, I couldn't. I live in Texas, so I couldn't do that out here. They'd have me they have my head on a platter.
Absolutely. And to go back to what the beginning part about the public education system, I mean, I think that in the past, literally, since Bush got into office, I really think that the public education system has really gone worse at a fast rate of speed. I mean, it was always a kind of bad. I am a product of the public education system, but I think, because I'm 29, so I kind of got out of it like in 97, 96, right when it was getting to the point of absolute that people don't know basic things anymore, and it's like really scary. And I blame it on the No Child Left Behind, because now everybody, regardless of ability, is considered to be on the same level. I mean, that's not even logically, even from a biblical point of view, because even in the Bible it says that we all have different talents.
Absolutely.
So why are we all saying that we're all equal when that's not logically, given various circumstances, that's not even the case? And looking at it from a biblical and a logical point of view, we're not all the same. We're not on the same level. So I blame it on No Child Left Behind.
Well, and I am not a fan of No Child Left Behind either. Like I said, I'm still, you know what, I mean, I've made shows that I thought George Bush was a great president based on his foreign policy and that sort of thing, but they're starting to become things that I just don't agree with. I mean, I'm going to give Bush credit that No Child Left Behind was a compromise to the voucher program. I mean, because I believe in the voucher system. I think we need to do whatever it takes to privatize education and put these bureaucrats that are in the public education system, which are ultra-liberals, borderline communists, and ultra-feminists. These are the people that are in the public administration, or excuse me, the public education apparatus. These are the people that are on the boards. These are the people that are the administrators. These are the people that are the teachers. And the No Child Left Behind Act, what it's done, it's made it easier for people to become teachers. I actually went to a party, and unfortunately, I don't know who invited all these teachers, but they were there, and I was rather interested. I mean, I actually wanted to talk to teachers. Teachers were supposed to have, well, at least I thought, we're supposed to have some sort of insight on the subjects that they teach and that sort of thing. And these people were absolute buffooneries. I mean, they'd probably try to drown a fish. They're so stupid. And what I don't understand is I talk to these people and I ask them, how long have you been a teacher? And a lot of them said they got their degree right after the No Child Left Behind Act. And I asked them what they did before as an occupation. One woman said she was a hairdresser. Another one said he was a bartender. Another one said he was a trash collector. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with these occupations. Don't get me wrong. I mean, these are people just trying to make a living. But how are you going to make a transition from those occupations into teaching our future generations? I just don't understand that.
I agree. I think that it's just, because I know that there used to be a lot, the qualifications used to be a lot more stringent. I mean, I know in Ohio, where I'm originally from, you have to have a master's degree to become a teacher. But here in Illinois, all you have to have is a bachelor's degree, and it could be in anything. It could be in, basket weaving. I know that's like the one that everybody goes for, but it can literally be in basket weaving, and then you can go teach calculus. It's so weird.
Yeah, well, in Texas, I mean, you have to be certified in Texas. You got to take some ridiculous test, but all you have to do is have a bachelor's degree as well. And as a matter of fact, most of the people that are in education at this time, the education major, these are all, in my view, absent-minded folk. They're getting into education because they know they have a permanent job place. They know they're going to be rationing money off the government. And I don't believe in that. I mean, when the government runs things, there is no incentive to make sure that the machinery of the bureaucracy is run correctly. I mean, when there's a school open and the principal that's supposed to be in control of that school, there is no incentive for that principal to make sure that everyone is doing their job appropriately, because the money's still going to come in from the government. It really doesn't matter. I mean, there is no reason for them to make sure that people are actually getting an education. This is why I think we need to privatize it. I think we need to privatize education, because there is a financial incentive for those who invested in a school. And it could be anybody. It could be an entrepreneur. It could be a group of mothers that don't agree with the previous public education system, that combine their money together and put forth a new school. It could be anybody who can put forth a new school, and they have a financial incentive to make sure that they produce good products for our society. I mean, and that's in my view. If you look at the public education system at this point, there is no incentive whatsoever for these teachers to teach. There's no incentive for principals to administer properly, and there is no financial incentive for these people on the board to make sure that these school districts are running in a fine, well-tuned, oiled machine.
Absolutely. it's just, and you have to also look at the history of the history of people that are coming up as teachers. I mean, they have parents, like I know I have parents that are now considered, displaced workers because, in the late 80s, the early 90s, going back to the late 70s through the early 90s, the NAFTA trade agreement, a lot of jobs were lost in manufacturing. So a lot of people are in like fear mode that would typically go to be a garbage, garbage man, and now they're teachers because they know what it's like to have to live through, jobs being taken out. So I think a lot of people who typically would not want to be teachers at all are just going to it, like you said, for the job security. Because I think it goes back to just the culture of displaced workers, people who typically would do manufacturing work. Now they are typically working at Walmart now as greeters because, they have no real skill set and they see their parents going through that and they try to avoid the same thing. And I think that it just cheats the kids in the long run. And now we're just going to be, further below what other people are in the country, around the world in our educational system. And it's just all a big mess.
It really is. I mean, why do you think these ridiculous people in the international community look down upon us? I mean, and I'm not trying to say that they're any smarter than we are, because they're not. But if you go to Europe, I mean, the average European knows, on average, 3 different languages. Now, I don't think language is like any kind of a measuring stick on a person's intelligence, but that just goes to show you that it does take a matter of time to learn those languages. So there is an essence of intellectual curiosity going on out there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say really quickly, I just feel like I think we're just pretty much putting ourselves in a hole in so many different areas. And I think that we as America, we really need to look up to that because we're in a hole when it comes to the educational system. I think that it has been proven, like you said, that because they know so many languages, because they're learning them at such an early age. I mean, they're learning them when they're really learning English. I mean, just by learning a different language when you're a baby or even younger, that does not impede your ability to learn English at all. So we need to start getting kids a lot earlier. And then we have the economy situation where we're digging a hole for ourselves. And then we have the war. It's just like, it's so much that people really need to put a lot of the things that they are currently, biding their time with aside for a second.
Yeah.
Just to themselves on what's going on, because we're getting ourselves into a situation that we're not going to be able to get. And Obama's not going to get us out of it by implementing all of these social programs, and especially Hillary, who just hands them out like, Santa Claus.
I mean, did you hear Hillary Clinton? She was asked, okay, because she was obviously she's one of the biggest mouthpieces for handout health care. And a reporter asked her in a press conference, well, how are you going to implement this handout health care? And she goes, well, we're just going to garnish wages. And when the reporter asked her, well, what if these people don't want their wages garnished? And she looked like perplexed, like, well, what do you mean they're not going to want it garnished? We're going to take it.
Yeah.
I mean, that means to me, and this is what it means to me, if you don't want your wages garnished, or if you're a business owner and don't want to pay this ridiculous handout healthcare tax, that you'll be thrown in jail. That's what I got out of it.
Absolutely. And that's,
isn't that not communism?
It's communism at its finest, because we're not. I understand we whole argument. I know that your show is about to wind down, so I'm going to make this my last comment.
Sure, no problem.
I hate that I've manipulated so much of your time, but it's like, I know people have this idea that there's this greater good by everyone paying into this one system. However, it's not my responsibility that someone doesn't have a job that has health care, because if someone's situation or their health situation is that bad, as someone who's familiar with the public service system as a former social worker, I know that there are programs that are on the state level that would be able to help these people. We don't have to have this universal federal government in place type of program, because there's already stuff at the state level. And if someone is in that bad of a shape, with their health, they can go to the Social Security Administration and get disability. I mean, it's not like there's not something there. It's just that I don't want to be held responsible because someone likes to eat a lot and they have a heart attack. That's not my responsibility.
Absolutely. I agree.
I'm sorry, Ghost, but thank you for your time.
No, don't worry about it. You bring up great points, and I really appreciate your insight every time you call.
Oh, well, yeah. I hope you have a show tomorrow. I will be here listening. I appreciate that you are really adamant about not letting someone influence your opinions like Jen of the Jungle or whoever was here before. I really appreciate it because, I mean, you help us a lot to get the point across because people really don't understand how serious everything is.
No, they don't understand. They really don't.
I'm going to hang up and listen to the next 15 minutes, but thank you for giving me time.
Thank you once again, Heather, and you're always welcome.
Thanks.
You have a pleasant evening. And she's right, folks. I mean, people just don't understand what's happening here in America, okay? And I just don't understand why people don't understand it, for Christ's sake. And I'm not talking about these people on the left, okay? Because these people on the left, they could care less. As a matter of fact, everybody who's on the left of the political persuasion is absolutely jumping for joy that socialism or quasi-communism is coming into effect in America. They love it. They absolutely love it. They are embracing it. They are praising Karl Marx for this transition of power that's happening in America. And it really doesn't matter who is in office, okay? And this is what I don't understand about the left. You see, the left is so ridiculously stupid. And this goes back to the dumbing down of America. They don't understand that Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Clinton, it's the same thing, okay? The only reason people are voting for Obama over Clinton is just purely collateral. I mean, I stated this before. I had a woman call in saying she's voting for Barack Obama because he has nice teeth, for Christ's sake. I got people saying they're going to vote for Barack Obama because we need young blood. We need young blood in there. And this is what I'm talking about, the dumbing down of America. And I wanted to elaborate a little bit about the public education system. The public education system is what's dumbing down our children, folks. It's dumbing down our children. I would advise everyone to do this, okay? After 5th grade or 6th grade, whenever elementary school ends in your state, take your kids out of school. That's right. Take them out. Take them out and put them in home schooling. It is your American right to do so, and I advise you to do so. And let me tell you why this is a good thing. First of all, they won't be anesthetized with all these liberals and these feminists that have hijacked the public education system. Okay, they won't be exposed to all this garbage anymore. Secondly, you will actually have the opportunity to teach your children because just like the Hood Report just stated, that her daughter goes to school and the teachers teach her absolutely nothing, and they send her home with homework that the student that wasn't really informed on or enlightened on, and they expect the parent to be the teacher. Well, if the parent is going to be the teacher, why in the blue hell are we paying these ridiculous teachers all this money to teach our children? Can somebody answer me that? Can somebody answer me this crap? And this is why I'm advising all of you folks out there. I mean, if you want your child to have any type of intellectual curiosity, you need to make the curriculum for your children. If it takes calling a private tutor to teach them math, well, by God, do it. If it takes pulling them out of school after because you need at least about a 5th grade, 6th grade education at this point so you can at least read and write. And once you do that, hire private tutors, all right? Hire these people off the streets, man. Make sure that they're college educated. Give these people a test. And make sure they relay this information to your children. Make sure that your children go out and read. Read, man. Because this public education system is not encouraging these children to read. And if you don't believe me, why don't you ask anybody who has graduated from high school, ask them how many books a day, or how many books a month they read. They're going to say, books?
I don't like to read. How many times have you heard that, folks? Oh, I don't like to read. How many times have you heard that? Too many times. Too many times. And it's because the public education system that has been hijacked by these pathetic liberals and these feminists, they've hijacked our public education apparatus, and they are dumbing down our children. I mean, all the people that are dumbing down, these are the people on the left, folks. I mean, haven't you noticed, out of the history of my show, and you can go, and I encourage all of you folks, take a look at the archive, okay? And you can get back to my archive at www.blogtalkradio.com/ghost. And take a look. You're not going to hear one liberal. You're not going to hear one liberal have any type of substance whatsoever. You want to know why liberals don't have substance? Because they're idiots, folks. They're so anesthetized with propaganda that they don't care. They don't want to hear anything. Even if you throw true facts in their face, they don't want to hear it. You want to know why they don't want to hear it? Because that's what propaganda is, folks. That's what Karl Marx told them to do. Not to accept anything but the victorious battle of the proletariat. And that's exactly what it is, folks. They have no substance whatsoever. And, by the way, the Republicans at this point don't have any substance either. So don't listen to those pieces of trash, because they're just as liberal as the left at this point. Just as liberal as the left. So the Republicans, the Democrats, it's the same crap, different plate. It's a shame, folks. It really is a shame to me. It's a shame that we've allowed America to get this bad. And like I stated previous, folks, everybody who's of the left of the political persuasion is jumping up for joy at the destruction of America. They love this day and age. They think this is the greatest time in history, believe it or not. And you know, I have a person in here, I don't mean to be picking on her. Her name is Left of Center, who's in our chat room. Just ask her. Ask her right now if this isn't the greatest time in history for people that are liberals. And she'll blatantly admit it to you. You want to know why? Because it doesn't matter which way you look at it. Whether you vote for Barack Hussein Obama, whether you vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton, whether you vote for John Turncoat McCain, the liberal agenda is going to be implemented. And that's why these liberals are jumping for joy out here. And they can't tell you why they're jumping for joy. All they know is hey, liberalism, yay! That's all they know. And it's sad, folks. I mean, it really is sad, man. I mean, I know I'm chuckling here a little bit, but, I mean, I'm in complete awe at the stench of ignorance that has infected America. I mean, America, excuse me, America was the bastion for innovation, what was the bastion for enlightenment, for progress, and now what are we reduced to? We are reduced to being fat, jelly-ass consumers that don't produce anything. And, of course, the left's not going to talk about it. All the left is going to do is say, hey, here's some handout health care. Hey, here you go. Hey, are you a female with 8 children from 8 different fathers? Hey, here's $2,000 a kid at the beginning of each year. Here you go. This is what they're talking about. That's all the people on the left talk about is giving you, and that is socialism, folks. And you can look, do your own research. Research the history of socialism, and you will understand that every social experiment that was socialist or communist-based failed. It is a failure. It is a failure system. Don't let these liberals fool you. It's a failure. I mean, it's just a damn failure, folks, and I just don't understand why more people aren't pissed off about it. It's really disgusting. It really is disgusting. Anyway, folks, we're about 6 minutes into the program. I wanted to leave you with a couple of words. I'm actually, the reason I had this show so early was because I'm going to go patronize an event that's happening this Saturday evening, and I might be out there until very late. I may produce a show very, very late this evening. if you happen to be up, if you're up on a Saturday night having a few libations, eating pizza, watching movies, whatever the case might be, try to look for me on BTR, maybe 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Because I might just throw a show, man, because I find that I come across a lot of folks that are out there that have great insight that are out late in the evening. And we had great discussions, and I encourage all of you to look back in the archive. We talk about a whole variety of different subject matters. I appreciate anybody with any political persuasion. I don't care what you believe in, just as long as you provide substance. Just as long as you provide substance. And Hood Report, you're considering pulling your daughter out of school. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I mean, I had to do that. I'm just to get a little personal with you guys. I had to do that. I mean, I had a son that was involved in the 90s when all this gangster rap garbage was prevalent. Do you remember that crap? I mean, all the kids from the neighborhood out here that had never seen the ghetto, that had never seen the horrors of poverty, have never witnessed any of the garbage rapped about on these ridiculous rap songs. You have them sitting here creating ghettos in suburban America. And you know what? It's public education that perpetuates this. You want to know why? Because public education provides the social arena to perpetuate this. And if you're a good parent and you try to shield your children from all this just garbage, all the social ills, however much you tried to shield them, you are not going to be able to shield them from outside influence that is seated in public education. Peer pressure. You know that old, peer pressure, man, peer pressure. And who's peer pressuring your children? Probably some dumb dingbat mother who probably has about 8 kids, all in the public education system, doesn't ever look at any of them. She's probably out hopping on something that looks good in a leather jacket, leaving her children at home alone, and these are the people that are influencing your children into becoming deviants, into becoming horrible criminal people. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, and that's why I advise all of you that are really concerned about public education, that are concerned about your children, I'd advise you just to pull them out. It's your right to do so. Until this socialist government or quasi-communist government comes into power here within the next year, it is your right to do so, and you can teach them how you see fit. And if there's subject matters that you don't know, like real complicated math, like real complicated science, you can hire people, folks. There are college graduates that are out here that spent thousands upon thousands of dollars for a college degree that they're never going to use. Okay? I mean, I've got master degree graduates at the local Barnes & Noble selling me my books, for Christ's sake. And they are thousands upon thousands of dollars in debt. Why? Because of the ridiculous system that we've constructed here called the higher education process. And all I'm saying is, why don't you hire some of these people, $10, $15 an hour, a couple of times a week, or once a week? It really doesn't matter. And I guarantee you that they will teach your children a hell of a lot more than any of these ridiculous teachers out here that don't deserve any goddamn credit. These teachers don't deserve any credit because they are not teaching our children. As a matter of fact, most of the population of the teachers are ex-hairdressers. Just like I said before, these are ex-hairdressers, garbage collectors. I wouldn't be surprised if half of them used to clean enema bags for a living. And this is what's teaching your children, and you have to wonder why our children are turning out to be a bunch of imbeciles. This is why, folks, and let me tell you this, and I'm an employer. I interview lots of people, and every time I interview somebody that graduated from high school, it seems like common sense is just not even in existence in their mentality. But when I hire somebody that for whatever reason, whether they dropped out, whether they got kicked out of public education, they seem to have more common sense. They seem to want to actually go out and work and get their nails dirty because they know what it's about. Anyway, folks, we need to stop the dumbing down of America, and the only way we can do that is by crippling this public education system, first and foremost. And if you're a teacher, I get a lot of hate mail from teachers that don't like me because, I don't have any compassion towards teachers. Well, maybe if you did your damn job, maybe I'd give you a little credit, but you don't. You don't do squat. You sit on your thumb, you put a Kentucky Fried Chicken grease thumb up your derriere, you put it in your mouth, you have a bad taste, and you relay it to the children. That's what you do. And then, you know, these teachers, they think because they're, I guess, a teacher in society, they have a college degree, they try to talk down towards parents. Haven't you noticed that? Haven't you ever had a meeting with your child's teacher, and what do? They try to talk down at you as if they're a higher power of some sort. It's ridiculous, and I spit on all you teachers. Puh! Puh! I spit on all of you. Anyway, folks, I thank every one of you for tuning in with me this evening. And please, by all means, if you're ever bored, if you have some time on your hands, get back to the archive. Just listen to us. We talk about serious subject matters all the time, and you are more than welcome always to give me a call. And you can get back to the webpage, www.blogtalkradio.com/ghost. My MySpace is myspace.com/ghostpolitics, all one word. Thank you all for listening. God bless all of you. God bless America. Long live the conservative movement, and death to feminism. And I'm out, folks.
Blog Talk Radio.
Boar's Head is bringing a slice of Japan to the deli. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Tender, slow-roasted chicken breast, coated in our signature teriyaki glaze, where ginger, garlic, and a hint of brown sugar meet for a flavor that's both sweet and savory. New Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. The bold flavor of Japan. Now at the deli. Only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.